What's going on, everyone? Alex Quinn here, and you're listening to Hustle Inspires Hustle. On today's episode, we have Cata Balzano, a friend, a colleague, and it's been long overdue. What's up?
It's been very overdue.
Right?
Yeah. But it's honestly great. I'm so happy to be able to sit with you. We've known each other forever.
Forever. I think it's been probably more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's college, right?
Yeah, I was 20.
20 years old. So we're not going to give our ages away, but it's been some time. Okay. I think I met you at North Campus in FIU, right?
Yes,
Was it North?
Yes, you were already doing marketing and doing your thing, and I was already at the Herald.
Oh my God. And you know that right before that, I was on the medical track. I wanted to be a doctor, but
You're joking. I didn't know.
Well, that's what I thought I wanted to do, and I still think it's pretty awesome, pretty cool. But like once I started doing the bio classes and the chemistry classes, dude,
you're like, hell no.
I was like, hell no. I was like almost crying in class every time.
Yeah. No, for sure. And how'd you switch over to marketing?
Well, during that time, I actually had a marketing job.
Okay.
So I had a bunch of jobs. I was doing a bunch of things to get through school. And one of those jobs was marketing, and I really enjoyed it. So I said, why am I going to reinvent the wheel here? Let me go down the marketing route. But at that time, you were at the Herald. At what age did you join the Herald?
I joined the Herald when I was like 23.
Okay. And how was that?
23. I mean, it was amazing. I was an intern, but I was, still in school. It happened through a professor from FIU.
Really?
Yeah, because back then there was something at FIU called the South Florida News Service.
Okay.
Which was like a class that you take and you got university credits and you take it at FIU. It's no longer called that, but they treat it like a newsroom. You walk in, your professor is like your editor, and they teach you everything you need to know about journalism. So I took it actually because one of my really good friends from college, that semester we didn't get any classes together, and I was like, I miss you. I'm so sad. Like, she's like, hey, switch. I don't know what class I had, and she's like, switch that to the South Florida News Service because we can be together. She's like, it's like a journalism class, but they treat it like a newsroom. She's like, and then if your stories are really good, they can get published on the Miami Herald or on the Sun Sentinel or the Palm Beach Post.
Right.
So I was like, okay, sounds cool. So I joined it, and all my stories got picked up by the Miami Herald.
Of course they did.
So
knowing you.
Yeah. So
always doing a good job.
That semester ended, and I remember the professor pulling me aside and saying, hey, Katta, an internship opened up at the Herald, and I want to send you.
Right.
And that year I was supposed to leave for Europe because I had always wanted to do my whole European thing.
Of course, yeah.
And she was like, but I know you want to go to Europe. And I was like, yeah. I was like, give me a day to think about it.
Yeah.
And I remember going home and telling my parents and saying hey, so you guys know how I want to go to Europe and I've been saving up to go. They said, yeah. I said, well, my professor just told me that she wants to give me an internship an internship at the Herald just opened, and she thinks I would be the best person because I have a really good nose for news. That's what she would always tell me. Like, you have a really good nose for what's newsy.
Yeah.
So they looked at me and they're like, I mean, Katta, Europe will always be there. And I'm like, no, you guys are right.
True.
It will always be. And indeed, it was there when I was ready.
Yeah.
So then I messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm definitely going to take the internship at the Herald.
Wow.
So that was my in. But what's really cool that I remember about meeting you is that it was within that kind of transition, but we met actually studying for a test. Do you remember how we met studying for a test at the library?
Yes. That was that's why I'm remembering the North Campus, right?
Yeah.
It was at the North Campus library.
Yeah, at a library. And I remember you saying I do marketing and this and that. And then we just became friends within that little group of people that were there.
Yeah. And you know what I was doing during that time as well? I was doing marketing for Red Bull. I was a student brand manager.
I remember.
That was fun, yeah.
I remember. And you drive in with really cool cars into school.
Yeah, that was good times. At the time, so look, I was working Red Bull, but at the same time I had a job at an exotic car rental agency.
I remember.
My friends at MPH Club. And they as I was starting college, they were just starting. And today, if you look at the company, it's the biggest exotic car rental agency in the whole country.
It's wild.
They have a beautiful location here off the highway. Nice showroom. And I learned a lot from those guys. Those guys opened up a lot of doors for me. So I was doing the college thing, but I was also doing the work thing. That's funny that you remember that.
No, I feel like those initial experiences are really what builds you, and the way you navigate through them is what defines so many things. When I was a girl, I never treated it as an internship.
It was just a job.
It was a job, and I walked in and I took it super seriously. I said, this is my opportunity to find ways to do what I wanted to do. And mind you, I never thought of doing news writing. That was never my in. My goal was always to do TV and on camera work because since I was a kid, since I was a literal kid,
you know, that was Hannah Montana.
Always what I want. Yeah, I wanted to be Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be on camera, and that was my thing. And I would like, you know, my little cousins would be my director and my co-producer and this and that, and I would always be the girl on camera, directing or singing or doing things. So that was always what I wanted.
Right.
But I think at that point, that was my first proof of like, in hindsight, of like letting go and letting God.
Right.
Because I was like,
this was more behind the scenes.
Of course, this was behind the scenes because I mean, I wanted to like find an internship at Univision or Telemundo or somewhere where I can like easily get on camera. But the Herald opportunity was there. If I would have said no to that, who knows? Like if I would have gotten another opportunity to just come in.
Yeah.
But at the Herald, I came in and I said, okay, this isn't what I want to do, but it can get me exactly to what I want to do, which is just everything on camera. And I ended up falling in love with writing as well, and I'm really good at it. So that was kind of like the trampoline to everything else. Like the first person I interviewed, big artist, big anyone, was Paris Hilton. And
wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you've interviewed everyone. Like who would you say are like the top 5-6 people you've interviewed that like you truly remember? Top of mind.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman, I'd say, and I can't remember his name right now, but he did Eddie the Eagle, and he also played Elton John in Elton John's film.
Okay.
But he's British, great actor. Paris Hilton is pretty top. I've done most of the Latin artists.
You've done most of them,
yeah,
right?
Most of the Latin
Maluma?
Artists. Yes, Maluma. Yeah, I've done most of like the major Latin artists.
Were you nervous for Maluma?
No. The thing is, I don't get nervous over any of them, and that's why I always say that I'm really good at what I do because I'm not a fangirl. Like I'm maybe.
I've never seen you fangirling.
I'm not, and it makes me cringe. Like
when
I see my colleagues fangirling, I'm like, oh god, like no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I can tell someone if I'm a fan of their work. I'll literally say like, I'll be like, I'm a huge fan of your work, great job, or whatever.
You keep it cool.
Yeah, but it's not genuinely me telling myself like keep it cool. No, it's literally me
never
like
let them see
not.
You fold.
It's but it's genuinely like I don't know why I don't get that excited.
Yeah,
I don't know. Shakira's was also a really like big cool interview that I did.
Remember that one. Okay.
Yeah. When she put out El Dorado.
Right.
And yeah, like
you've done too many. Honestly, every time I see you, you're interviewing some humongous person.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is like in person that you've done them. Like right. A lot of them, I remember a lot of them were prior to COVID. You were just doing a lot of in-person ones. For sure. Right?
Then when I got the opportunity to cover the MTV EMAs, the European Music Awards by MTV, the MTV flew me out. I was living in London. It was in Sevilla. Then it was like Green Day and like, you know, like Cristiano Ronaldo was there. Like, yeah, Sevilla's amazing. But like just starting to cover internationally was really huge for me. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And they actually flew you out. So it's like, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to take myself. Because that happens to a lot of people. They'll take themselves and they'll try to find an opportunity. Like you were actually going.
Yeah.
You actually just went to Super Bowl, right?
I just went to the Super Bowl,
Were you at Grammys as well?
Yes. I didn't go to Grammys. No, I didn't do Grammys. A lot of my colleagues did. And it was awesome because Grammys was historic this year. So many Latin artists. Obviously, like Bad Bunny won Album of the Year. Yeah. It was a really like big pivotal moment for I think like the culture in general that whole week, like Grammys to Super Bowl, all led by Bad Bunny, of course. But yeah, I only did Super Bowl, and I'm glad I only did Super Bowl because after Super Bowl I slept for 3 days straight. Like I literally could not.
Because you have to be thinking about so many things: the travel, the filming, the production, making sure you finish what you're supposed to do, your personal content.
Exactly.
Like it's all these things that you have to do. It's like a whole production in itself.
Yeah. And I organized it super, super well. I was able to meet all my deliverables plus all my personal deliverables as well. I gained 20,000 followers.
Did you?
Through my Super Bowl coverage. Yes.
Oh my God.
My content went so viral that Meta cut me a check as well. For it individually.
People cutting you checks, man.
Yeah. So
put some respect on your name.
I mean, yeah. No, it's I think it's one of the events where I've genuinely done such good coverage that I've been so satisfied. Like I was so giddy going back home on Monday. Yeah, so accomplished.
Yeah.
Like rarely do I get to do everything, and I got to do absolutely everything, and it just felt so good.
Yeah, I remember I think I wrote you after. I asked you if you were back, and you're like, dude, crazy stuff. Yeah. So exhausted.
I was like TTYL.
Yeah. I was happy because I was watching your stories and my wife was watching your stories. We're always happy for you doing your thing. Okay, so let's still bring it back a little bit. So we were in FIU, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you introduced me to the guys from Palmera Mia?
I do. Of course.
That was amazing because like that's like few people that I've met in the industry over the years that I've become friends with, you're one of them. Like we became friends like early on, and then after I opened the agency, you would come to the office, meet my team. Like we always had like a beautiful connection that way. And you introduced me to the guys from Palmera Mia, and I became super close friends with them. Like we did a lot of business together. We actually designed a clothing line, which I believe at one point we gifted you a box of.
You did.
Right? So
I still have some of the stuff.
You do?
Of course, yeah.
So that was a collab with Metro Group Miami, who do everything for like the heat, they do all the printouts, like all the banner work. And we sold online and in stores. And if it wasn't for you making that connection, that would have never happened. The cool thing about that was that a connection you made for us materialized into actual products, but then it made it to actual artists. So like Manuel Turizo was wearing it. There's a picture of Karol G and Enrique Santos where Enrique Santos is wearing it. So I thought that was pretty cool because like out of a good friendship came another good friendship. And then out of that friendship came some business that we did with them. And I still talk to the guys to this day. So we've been friends all that time. So first and foremost, thank you for that. I appreciate you. And I know the guys do all the time. We always talk about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, the guys from Palmera are also super hustlers, you know? They're badass. They are super creative. Their initiative caught my eye. Somebody told me about them. Like a good friend of mine just told me about them. And I was at the Herald. I think I was one of the first journalists to talk about them at all and to write about them like ever. I put them on the Herald. I did a feature of them on the Herald because what really interested me was the fact that, yes, they were bringing attention to a cause that is so like near and dear to like Colombians. Like there is a huge crisis of like lack of water in the northern region of the country when it comes to like the Wayu tribes, and the fact that they were donating 10% of whatever they were making to that, I thought was just such a like cool thing to display and to talk about. I drove all the way to Orlando to interview them, and I interviewed them at a Starbucks in like that shopping center that's like an outlet. Yeah, that's where we did the interview at a Starbucks. And and the article came out, and like I guess we built the relationship with them, and they would always send me merch and stuff. Yeah. But I think what's beautiful about that is what you're saying. It's just those connections that we build. I believed in them. They had a really good thing going on, and then I put them in touch with you. You have really great things going on, and then that kind of like just like clicked all together. Yeah. And what's even better is like there was never like a secondhand intention there. It wasn't like, oh, so that this person can. It just magically happened. I was like, you're cool. I want you to meet. Yeah. That was that.
And it's funny you mentioned Starbucks because when I met you after the collab, I believe we met at a Starbucks, you and me, in Miami Lakes.
You're joking.
And that's where I think I brought the box with the merch. And we're like, hey, this is like, thanks to you, this thing exists. And I think it was right off like 57th or 67th Avenue in Miami Lakes.
You're joking.
Yeah. So I think it was, unless I'm freaking crazy. And
I don't know. I have the bomber. I have like a bunch of stuff that was like a huge box that you guys gifted me with stuff.
Yeah.
I did a photo shoot with it.
I'm glad that we've supported each other over the years. And you know what the funny part is, Katta? Like, we've been friends, but we've never done business.
We've never done business.
And I liked it that way. Like, we've been just literally friends, supporting each other, even because we stopped seeing each other for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, we were seeing each other online, but in person, we hadn't seen each other for a couple of years.
I was out for 5 years, so... take those 5 years away from, but
you were 5 years in Europe.
I was in Europe for 5 years. I left in 2018. I came back in 2022.
Oh well, I did see you in 2018 in Paris.
You're right.
Yeah,
was it 2018? Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was definitely before. It was either 2018 or 2019. Right. My mom was there. Yes. All my friends were there. That was cool.
You were visiting.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a good time.
Yeah. I mean, we've always kept in touch, and that's what I've always appreciated about you, because what happened to me when I moved to the UK is that I stopped hearing from a lot of people that I think it was just like convenient for them to be in touch with me. Right. And I mean, it was a business, and a lot of people went silent, like literally crickets. And the few people that did keep in touch throughout all those years are the people that when I moved back, I was so happy to like see again, talk to again, like meet up with again, because I was like, these are like genuine connections. These are people who want to be in touch with me, whether they know that I'm killing it in the business or whether I'm taking a break from the business or whatever I'm doing.
Or whether you could do something for them or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which in our business is rough because, like, I mean, most people would just need you for something.
It's so rough.
Right?
It's so rough.
But there's good people out there. Like, there, you know, for the most part, there's a lot of crazies, but I've met good people and I've been able to build some, like, really good relationships throughout the business because there's people out there that are just like us as well, you know?
For sure.
You can't say it's everyone.
I think living in Europe was easy for me to do two things. One, filter out a lot of people who I realized were genuinely interested in like being friends with me, and even if we do business together or we don't or whatever, if we're both in the industry, we are genuinely a connection with the people who just were friends with me or there for me just because I represented something important for them, or I could do something for them.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I was able to really do was kind of like put my feet on the ground and understand what's really, truly important. The Katta that left for Europe and the Katta that came back from Europe, has completely different values, a completely different vision of the industry. I don't see what I do as who I am. It's just what I do. It's just a job at the end of the day.
Right.
Who I am, what my values are, what I want to do, how I treat people are completely different things. And those are the things that are important to me. So I was able to do that while living in Europe and kind of like looking at the industry from the outside, because I was kind of on the outside for many reasons.
Yeah.
So, that's like what's like really important for me and what Europe did for me in that sense.
You lived where? You lived in Rome?
So I was in London for 3.5 years.
Okay.
Then I went to the south of France.
Okay.
Got broken up with.
I was going to bring that up, but okay.
6 months later. And then I moved to Rome.
Okay.
And then I was in Rome for a while.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like, I really wanted a break and I missed my mom. And I was like, Europe is always going to be here if I did want to come back. But right now I just want to be home and I just don't want to be thinking about so many things. I was like, where's my career going? What do I want to do? I was writing for the global desk at Narcity. Narcity's in Canada. They do really cool kind of like I was doing global news, but they do a lot of like local recommendations and they cover really cool things on a global scale. And I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to or don't want to do. And the universe kind of like speaks to you in mysterious ways. And 6 months into signing a contract with them, they reached out to me. They told me they didn't want to renovate a contract, that they wanted to cut down, whatever. So I said, this is like my cue to find a way. And interestingly enough, I have a good relationship with Leila Ko.
Yeah.
I reach out to Leila and she gets back to me with like an offer to write the script for the Latin Billboard Music Awards in 2022.
Oh my God.
She goes, Katta, I'll put you in touch with the people if you're interested. And I said, yeah, I'm absolutely interested. And she put me in touch with the people and they said, I need you here within a month. And I said, say no more. I packed my bags, did everything. And then
from Rome, right?
From Rome and then moved.
But I remember always keeping up with your social media during your Europe era. And I know you mentioned you got broken up with, but it was nice because I remember seeing you with your, your significant other, you guys on your scooter and doing your whole Paolo, Lizzie McGuire thing. And I thought that was awesome for you because I don't think I had seen that prior. You were single before you left, right?
I was single.
So I think that's always good because you've always worked super hard and you've always been so deep into work and people respect you a lot for that. But you also need time for yourself.
Totally.
There's always going to be work.
Yeah, that I think being in Europe was my way of what my content became was my personal life, my travels. People realize I speak 1,000 languages.
Yeah.
People realize I actually am half Italian. My family's in Italy. I speak Italian. When I go there, I'm just as Italian as I am Colombian when I go to Colombia. I showed a lot of sides of me that I think being here just, I speak Spanish and I do a lot of my work in Spanish, but a lot of my Italian or the fact that I speak French or all those things I was able to show, or I showed organically. It wasn't I was intending to,
right.
Through that relationship that I had. And in a way, my life became this kind of online reality show for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole Carrie Bradshaw gimmick started, Sex in the City or Eat, Pray, Love. People would always get back to me I feel like I'm watching Eat, Pray, Love through your stories, or I feel like I'm watching Sex in the City through your stories.
Yeah.
Carrie, she's a writer and she loves fashion and she moves to London, but then she falls in love with a French guy and they move to France together. And then the French guy ends up being a disappointment and she runs away to Rome. Look, all the cliches, but all the cliches are real.
No,
Katarina's
really
literally living all these cliches. Yeah. The issue was that once we break up, all of a sudden I go silent on socials because I start getting so many people reaching out to me, asking me for explanations.
Yeah.
As if it were an episode. What's the next episode? I literally had someone once, I was on vacation in Florence with a friend and we're just walking and then all of a sudden I get a text message from a girl that I don't even know. She's a publicist here in Miami. I don't even know her. And she goes, hey, did you and your boyfriend break up? Because I never saw him again on your socials and I need closure. I literally,
that's hilarious.
I literally collapsed on the floor.
That's hilarious.
Crying.
Dude. Really?
Yeah. And my friend's like, Katta, what's wrong? And I'm like, people won't leave me alone on social media asking me about these things. They don't realize I actually have these feelings. I actually am going through a real breakup right now.
Yeah.
Like a heartbreaking breakup.
Well,
that was like a divorce.
They were going through it too.
They were going through it too,
it's
dude.
like a streamers now. You watch them and shit happens, and then you're like, what's going on?
Literally. And again, in hindsight, now that I'm not hurt, I'm like, I could have profited from that, going on TikTok and talking about it and making
Shakira
people, Shakira style, dude. Pero I estaba yo tan rota. I was so heartbroken that I couldn't bear to talk about it. I couldn't bear to anything. I was just, it was just a really, really dark, like,
I remember when you came back, you were also very low key when you got here. You weren't really going out. You weren't hanging out. You were just like doing your thing with your work.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you have your dogs. Did you have the 3 dogs at that point?
I had Bentley.
You had Bentley?
Then I opened a rescue. So yeah, I was at that point, I was like, fuck everyone, fuck the industry, like fuck all these people who don't reach out to me. But the whole time while I'm in the UK at all, and then they're reaching out to me asking me about my boyfriend. Like I was just like so like pissed and hurt and like resentful, and like I was like, fuck everyone.
Yeah, it's natural though.
Yeah. It was a healing process, and it took me some time. It took me over a year, but the dogs really helped me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the dogs really helped me, and they just kind of like started pouring into my life. As soon as I said I want to open a rescue, the dogs just started coming in. It was like dogs everywhere. I was getting calls like, hey, I found a dog here, I found a dog there. And I was like, okay, maybe this is like something that I should do. And
it was the dogs and the plants, no?
And the plants, dude. The plants did it for me. Yeah. Eventually I fall into a really bad depression. 2023, I fall into a really serious depression that I didn't catch till like mid-year, but I was already feeling the symptoms in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
But I didn't like catch it till I caught it. I started feeling it beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Started speculating that I was depressed like around April, May of 2023. And then I accepted it and came to terms with it in like June.
Okay.
And it was real. I was really depressed, like really, really depressed. And I had to like seek like special help, like specialists. We called the suicide hotline a few times. Like things got really, really serious. I switched homes. Okay. We were living with my mom somewhere. I wanted to live with my mom and stay with my mom for a little bit.
Okay.
But at the same time, like I was like, I want to live with my mom and be with her because she's so supportive.
Right.
But at the same time, like I want to live alone. Like how is it possible? I'm 30 years old and I'm not living alone. And like all like narratives of where you should be and what you should be doing at 30, without keeping in mind that I was just going through a really, really difficult recovery from a heartbreak that left me, distraught.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, the plants, man, the plants really, really helped me. Like I was just,
it grounded you a little bit?
Yes, super, like grounded me. And same thing, the plants just started pouring in.
So it's like almost like you were taking care of like the plants and the animals in a way that maybe you would want somebody to like look out for you and your feelings. Maybe
that's so beautiful,
right?
Yes, and then the other thing is the plants taught me a lot of things, and I guess the animals taught me a lot of things too.
Yeah.
Patience, regrowth. A plant, like a leaf dies and then like 2 come out, and it's like sometimes you have to lose 1 to gain 2.
Yeah.
And it was little things like that through nature and through having the dogs, I like learned about a lot of things. My dog, Bentley, who's like my soul dog, like I have a lot of dogs and I love them all to death. That's like my soul dog. While I was sick, he was really sick too the whole time. So that was also like crazy, like his connection, him trying to possibly, I think, like heal me from my pain. Yeah. And then he was I'm going to start crying. He was obviously in pain too.
Yeah.
Trying to heal me from that. So
yeah, because he felt it. He had to have feeling. Like,
yeah. They all felt it. I think, but he especially because he's so close to me and he traveled. We traveled. I got him in London, and then we lived together in France. He lived with me in Rome. I took him everywhere. Positano. We would take a train and go to lunch in Florence. Like he was like my dog that was always with me.
Right.
So yeah, he was super healing for me. But watching him kind of like get sick in the process of trying to heal me and me healing myself was like really like unbelievably difficult. And it taught me so much about animals and their power and nature and its power.
And like beyond animals and plants, like it also teaches you that like for yourself and those around you, like you have to try to be good. Whether you're a mom, whether you're a daughter, like the way like your mood is and the way your nervous system is manifesting itself always affects the people that are around you, whether you realize it or you don't. So it's good. Like you said 2023.
Yeah.
Was that around the time that we like saw each other again at the Pitbull album release thing at the NASCAR?
Yes.
That was, right?
That was. And I was already going through it, but that was like May. That was around May.
Yeah.
April, May.
Yeah.
Yeah, things were already getting a little weird.
Yeah. I remember because we saw each other and we hadn't seen each other in a while.
Uh-huh.
And I think I mentioned something about catching up, but I think you mentioned like you had a slight comment about how things were crazy and like you were trying to settle in, have your shit together. But then again, you were still going out there and working.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
You have to.
Because that's another thing. Like when people go through difficult moments, a lot of like, and it's happened to me. Like if I like during times that I've gotten depressed, dude, like go in my bed and like not wake up, like sleep it off. But like that's not it either.
No. Absolutely not.
You gotta touch grass. You gotta go out there. The sun is gonna come out again. Things are gonna be okay. But in that moment, when everything feels like it's shit, it's difficult to pick yourself up. You know,
it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I had a life coach.
Yeah.
A therapist, and mind you, all of this with all the knowledge that it's a privilege to even be able to afford all of this. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah,
I was paying for all of it out of pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
Life coach, therapist, and then I had a nutritionist as well. Like I had a lot of things kind of like keeping me kind of like grounded weekly with like homework that my life coach would have me do, meditations that my therapist would have me do, a lot of things. And then the other thing is I started studying. So I got into I started doing a master's.
Okay, so if I'm remembering correctly, you had something in Rome around graduating with something,
exactly.
Right?
So in 2024, I graduated from Rome Business School with a degree in digital marketing and business transformation.
You're crazy.
Yeah. And that's what
awesome.
I did. I started studying. I was like, how can I like, I don't know, concentrate daily? Because depression was very much like that. I was waking up in bed, staying in bed mostly all day. And I was like, how can I like be in bed, but also like keep busy? And I enrolled for an online master's. And that's what I did for almost a year.
So being busy and being a badass in business helps you distract a little bit away from when you're feeling a little down.
I don't know if it's a distraction, but it's me still trying to keep moving throughout. Yeah. Like I don't, it's not that I don't believe in completely stopping, but I just don't think it's helpful, because like the world's going to continue. The world's going to keep, going. So even though I'm working through all these really tough feelings, through all this pain, through all this acceptance, through all this realization that the life I thought I was going to have, or the way I planned for things to happen, didn't happen because the other person just decided that they didn't want to be part of that, and all those things. I can work through all those things, and I don't know how long it's going to take me. Mind you, it took me like 2.5 to 3 years.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah, especially if you're really in it. If
you're really in it and you think you're going to get married and have babies with this person, and you think you're about to give up a whole bunch of stuff for them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, actually...
Deuce. See ya.
Actually, psych. Thanks for moving to France, though. You know what I mean? And it's like, what do I do? Like, this person just took my compass and threw it in the desert and said, "Go figure it out, bitch," and in French. You know what I mean? So that acceptance of that, and then feeling like, okay, I have to work through all these things, but I don't want to stop everything. You know what I mean? I want to do something.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me study, get an extra degree, add another thing to that resume.
Yeah.
And it ended up working out beautifully for me, because then I get hired by Impromedia a few months before graduation.
Okay.
So I get hired by Impromedia in June of 2024.
Okay.
And I graduate September 2025. Yeah, crazy. It's almost 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
I graduate with my master's in September 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just continue with Impromedia. But then obviously I think by the end of 2024, I was healed. I was ready. I felt better. Work was keeping me proactive. I was ready to get back into the industry. So you start seeing me a little bit more at press junkets. You start seeing me a little bit more at red carpets. You start seeing me interviewing more artists.
Yeah, I remember.
I was ready to give my energy. Yeah. I was ready to give my energy to that once more and kind of open up, and also take the denseness of the industry, because that was my thing. Because I was so caught up in my feelings and in how I felt, and the denseness of all sometimes my negativity, if I want to be honest. At the same time, our industry is very dense and our industry is very negative. And a lot of people who wanted to see me so that I could tell them what happened, what the breakup was. They wanted their closure.
Yeah.
And they didn't, some of them didn't know that I was going through so much, and some of them probably didn't care. They just wanted their closure. And I was just trying to avoid a lot of those people. So that's why I wouldn't go to those things.
Right.
Once I feel like I'm ready and if they ask me, I can talk about it, I'll go. And that's when I started to like put myself out there a little bit more. And I realized the industry was ready for me again. Like they were ready to, you know, take me in and embrace me. And that's what happened.
Yeah, definitely. And then you came back swinging super hard.
Super hard. So much so, like a few months later, I get hired for Básico, which was the live stream with Lo Hijo Lo Pensé. I'm doing that. I'm working at Impremedia. Things are great. 2025. And then all throughout 2025, I was winking at the Hollywood Reporter. I was like, I would really like to write for the Hollywood Reporter, but I'm with Impremedia, possibly in the future. The point is, somebody at Impremedia, I was working for La Opinión. Somebody starts giving me a really hard time. And I was like, I've been through so much. I really don't need to deal with one person giving me a hard time. Yeah, one more motherfucker who's unhappy because I'm doing all the things he wants to be doing. But
right.
He's not, and he thinks this is the way. It's clearly not the way. I could totally help you, but you want to be an asshole. That's fine. Peace out. So I literally just put in my resignation letter with like effective immediately written in the resignation. I didn't even give them an hour to prepare.
Wow.
It was like effective immediately. I no longer work for this company, and these are the reasons. I sent them a long, like 3-page essay to HR, letting them know why I was unhappy and why I felt like I was being directly targeted by one of the employees.
You pulled it to Tupac. Fuck bad boy. Fuck this.
Yes,
fuck
yes. And fuck you too.
Fuck you too.
Yes, that's exactly what I did. Yeah. And a week later, the editor of the Hollywood Reporter reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, Katta, we're interested in working with you." And I was like, what are the odds that, you know, things like I quit and all of a sudden, boof.
Yeah.
That opportunity opens. It's an opportunity that I had been manifesting for the whole first 6 months of last year, and all of a sudden it's in my hands. And I had the meeting with them, and it was super in and out because I think they had already decided they wanted me,
right?
And I was hired by the Hollywood Reporter as someone that would work on a lot of like their Latin content, covering a lot of like the Bad Bunny stuff, doing some of the I do like the Latin Power List. So a lot of things that have to do with like the Latin industry and the Latin entertainment industry as a whole.
It's been crazy to see you like evolve and each time like reach a higher level within the industry itself. Because you've also been consistent. You like you haven't jumped around from career to career path. You've just more been given opportunities by different like brands, different companies that recognize your talent. So you say, oh, like how crazy that they hit me up. Well, really not how crazy.
It's true. You are right.
Like not how crazy. It's just, I mean, that's what happens when there's talent out there and talent is up for grabs.
I think like for me, what's crazy is timing wise. Like, oh my God, I had the courage to close the store because that was my full-time job. You know, you're going to get a paycheck every month with healthcare. So it was rough. It wasn't rough. I wasn't looking at it, and I wasn't looking at it from a scarcity mindset at all. I just didn't
want to deal with shit.
I just didn't want to deal with Like if I need a job that is going to give me healthcare and benefits, and then I have to deal with you, and you're going to give me a hard time, and I'm going to be using the doctor even more, and that's why I need healthcare and benefits. Then what's the point? You know, it kind of cancels itself out a little bit.
I agree.
So I was like, I don't actually need to deal with this. I'm not starting in the industry. I'm not building a name in the industry at this point. Like I'm a household name. I'm well known. I have a brand. I've written for most of the major magazines in English.
Name them real quick. Name drop real quick.
I've Variety, Billboard, Hollywood Reporter. La Opinión is one of the biggest in Spanish. So, the Miami Herald, and then I've been picked up by major outlets because I've written huge, stories on impactful and pivotal moments in Latin music history. So, I don't need to deal with someone who is clearly unhappy and wants to pick on me because they feel like I'm either gonna take their job or because why is she able to do all these 15 things and I'm not? Like, I don't know, level up and maybe you will too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be mad. Like, I'm so busy that I'm not focusing on the 15 other things people are doing.
Yeah.
Which
is important because you can't get caught up on competition or what other people are doing. That's when you don't succeed. Yeah. Or when you stop being original, I'd say.
Both. But it's especially one of those things where, you know how they say like busy and successful people don't criticize others and don't hate on others. It's so true. Now that I'm busy and successful, I can confirm.
Yeah. So let's talk about the difficult parts of business. I have had my back against the wall with $0 in my bank account more times than I can count. For somebody that's looking to do the type of thing that you're doing, maybe being a journalist, being somebody in the media industry, having a personal brand that's recognized, that gets flown out for Super Bowl, for all these big events that people could only wish they could do. Can you speak to the part of having to be financially literate, organized, understand that there is going to be difficult times because it's not always ponies and unicorns? Like, how many times have you found yourself in that situation with your back against the wall, quitting because somebody's a dick, but knowing that you're not gonna have a paycheck coming? How has that been?
You definitely have to have a roll your sleeves up mentality, and you have to have an ego that is easy to tame.
Okay.
And again, once you know that no matter what you do, you're still you and you still have the talent, it doesn't, going up or down within that range doesn't matter. So if I'm this stellar journalist, right? I'm well known. People reach out to me from all over the world, whether it be for consulting, whether it be for questions like this, whether it be to like shoot a podcast with them, or little things like that, or they're not even little, they're major things that other people might want to do. If for some reason tomorrow I'm producing a show, or I'm doing marketing consulting for someone, or I'm writing a press release, that doesn't make, I don't value any of that less. And some of that you do have to do, especially on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
On the way up, I did copywriting. On the way up, I produced small things. I really had to learn how to charge the value of my work, because that was the other one. Like, anything that anyone would offer me for work, I'd be like, yes, I'll take that. No. You got to negotiate, because if they're asking you for something, if they're asking you for a service, it's because they think you're apt enough to do it. You're good enough to do it. So that means you're going to charge your rate. You're going to talk about your rate. So realizing like the value in my work, but especially, like I said, having a roll your sleeves up mentality is important, and being good at numerous things is important. So a little while ago, a major network, a producer called me, and they're like, hey, I'm looking for someone, for a producer for a live stream that we want to do. And I said, okay. And then he said, what are you good at? And I said, what do you need me to be good at? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, yeah, I said, I'm a good writer. I'm good at filming. I'm good at producing. I said, there's two ways with me. What you need me to do, I either know how to do it, or I'll learn to do it really quickly.
Yeah.
Or
I'll find the people to do it with me.
And he hired me. He's like, okay.
Well, that's the right type of answer that somebody in the production is looking for.
Exactly.
Either I figure it out, I find somebody that figures it out, or I already know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's honestly been my answer with editors when they've called me for huge, like, we have this huge story that we want to do, and like, who can you get for us? And my question always is, who do you need me to get for you? Because whoever you need, I will get. And if I can't get them, I know someone who can. So what do you need? And I will get that.
Were you always that confident, like in business and in negotiating?
No. So initially, no. And I think that comes with
because I wasn't, like, that shit was really hard for me. So I would love to hear how it was for you. Yeah.
Initially, it is hard for you, because I think it does have to do with personal value, with self-value, how much like you value who you are and your work, and how much you recognize your work, not from an ego standpoint, but from recognizing the fact that you've done a lot, right?
Yeah.
You've done a lot. I've done a lot. That doesn't mean que eres un creído and that you think you're the best and that you think you're better than everyone else. That just means you're a good professional who's done a lot and who has like gone up levels, and that has taken that has taken you or me or whoever a lot of work, a lot of connections, a lot of meeting people.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's a superpower. Being able to say, who do you need, is a superpower.
It is. With that confidence too.
Yeah. Who do you need?
Yeah.
And that's how, for example, there was a big list that I had to do a little while ago. And same thing. They were like, we're looking to spotlight professionals in the Latin industry, whether it be artists, whether it be producers, whether it be managers, whether it be agents, this and this and that. Can you get in touch with these people? I said, yeah. And they said, everyone. I said, whoever you need, I will get in touch with them. However it may be. Whether it be through an Instagram DM, whether it be I know the agency that works with them or that represents them, whether it be that I'm friends with them, like whatever it is, I will send that message, that email, that whatever it is. So again, it goes back to rolling up your sleeves, putting your ego to the side, and saying whatever I need to do to get my job done and to hand in my deliverables the way the person that hired me expects them to look. That's all you need to do.
Is there anybody like in your upbringing that is that way? Is it like your dad? Is it your mom? Or did you learn that in business? Is it a cousin? Like there's maybe somebody that influenced you being like a strong, like capable woman. Did you learn that through the business and through the school, or did you learn that through family maybe?
I learned that through the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have been taught more discipline at home. Because I always say, if I would have been taught more discipline, I would have been unstoppable. I would have been literally unstoppable. And I know I seem unstoppable right now, but I do have to always like put myself in check and say, no, we're going to finish what we're doing. I also have ADHD. So I continuously talk to myself and like clock myself into like, no, discipline, consistency, let's finish. Because growing up, and I don't blame my mom, God bless her for it, but I would enroll in dance, and then 3 weeks later I didn't want to do dance anymore. My mom was like, okay, fine. And then like I would enroll in tennis, and I would fall in love with tennis, and then a month would go by, and then I didn't want to go to tennis anymore, and my mom would be like, okay, fine. If my mom would have been like, no, we enrolled in tennis, I paid for tennis, we're going to learn tennis, right?
Right.
I feel like that would have built another part of me that I just had to build myself and learn myself, y a trancas y a golpes, because initially going into this, I wasn't so disciplined. So I did disappoint people. I did once, I remember I had an editor who really believed in me, and I did a lot of really, really cool things with him. But then once, I remember he started working for a big magazine, and I reached out to him. By then I was like 24, 25. And again, I didn't realize I had the power back then to say to this editor, who was a major editor, like, hey, can you hop on a phone call? I have an idea. And, he picked up the phone. I had the idea. I pitched him the idea. The idea was that I was going to travel somewhere and to feature a very special part of that country on the magazine written by me. And he said yes, but he said, I don't know if I can guarantee that it be on the magazine. However, I guaranteed to him that would be delivered. That article would be delivered, whether it was published or not. I think that he found a way to have it published regardless. But me, being indisciplined, I didn't send him the article because I was like, if this isn't going to for sure be published,
I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. The me now, 10 years later, would have sent him the article regardless and said, hey, let me know if this can be published in this issue. If not, can we have it published in the next issue? Because now I know and understand how we can navigate those types of situations. Maybe he didn't want to guarantee anything because he didn't know how it was going to look or how the writing was going to look or how it was going to be. I don't know, but the way I'm built now and my discipline and my understanding of things is very different than when I first started. So what happened with that editor? He never again accepted another one of my pitches, ever.
Yeah.
Eventually he reached out to me and I ended up doing stuff with another outlet because an editor that he was working with spoke very highly of me, because I've disappointed people, but they're very, very few. Very few. Very few have I disappointed.
Oh, I'm glad that you actually do bring up a bad moment, because if people only talk about their wins and
no.
you never know that he's listening. He's like, damn, she really does care. And
of course I care.
Didn't matter to her,
Of course I care. And again, those are moments that happen because of lack of maturity, lack of consistency, lack of discipline.
Yeah.
And they build you up.
Yeah.
They build you up and they turn you into the professional that you are now. Now I would never do that. I would never, ever, ever. And if I can't deliver something on the day, I email the editor and say, hey, got caught up with this. Can we extend this deadline for tomorrow? Or can we, how long do I have to extend this deadline for? I'm always very much in touch with my editors, and I'm not scared to also ask them, because that was also the thing. Out of fear, out of fear of asking for an extension, because I felt like they would never hire me back if I asked for an extension. I would ghost instead.
Wow.
Because I remember that what ended up happening was I explored the city for a little bit, but I wasn't able to do more because I had tonsillitis.
Okay.
And I was so sick and bad those days that I couldn't do the research that I wanted to do on while I was there. So that was part of the reason why, but he doesn't know that. You know what I mean? He just knows
you didn't
that
say anything, so he would
I said I'll send it to you on this date, and I didn't send it. He didn't receive anything. Who knows if I made him look bad with his editor or with his boss?
You don't know what people he bothered to make sure that they backed you up. Yeah, exactly.
So it's those things that, again, it with time, it teaches you things, and and all, but it's part of the growth.
I've been there. I've done that before. I'm sure to a couple people. And if you're listening to this and I caused you a bad
and
moment,
you flaked on your boss, like
I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry. I was going through it. Sorry for the version of me that wasn't 1,000%.
No, for the most part, it's because something happened, and you end up you're just not able to do it, whatever. But it's better to communicate it and say, hey, like I wasn't able to do this. Can we just kill this and maybe I do something else? Like I don't know. Like you can negotiate. That's the other one. Negotiating terms. Sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes it's negotiating terms. Like okay,
leverage.
You can't pay me $500 for this article, but how about you give me 3 articles and this and this and that there, and then like a front cover on this one.
You're so funny, man.
You know what I mean?
You're so funny. I could already imagine you just like getting everything you want. Your ask list, yes, the writer.
And I firmly believe in like you get what you think you're going to get.
Yeah.
So if you believe you're good enough and you believe you are talented enough and that people work with you because they respect you, things unfold for you easier. Nadie está contratando a nadie por pesar. Nobody's hiring you because they feel bad for you, because they're spending money, right? Hiring you. They're paying you for something.
It's true.
They're going to hire you if you're good.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend their money on some loser just because they feel bad for them.
Or their time. Yeah.
Or their time.
Yeah. You're right.
So
we don't always look at things that way.
Yeah. Nobody's hiring you because you know you're cute. I mean, maybe sometimes, but
yeah, maybe
that could be a plus.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're being hired for something, it's because people know you have the ability to do it.
Yeah. What is your most proudest moment professionally to date?
Oh my god. Oh.
The one where you're like, all right, that was key. This is the one I called my mom about, my aunt, my dad, everyone. Yeah. This is the one I have on my notebook, on my wallpaper on my phone.
I have a few. I think one that is really big for me is when I wrote the story for the 20th anniversary of the Latin Recording Academy.
Okay.
It was a 2,500 word piece. It took months of research. It took interviewing everyone from Ricky Martin to Juanes to Karol G to J Balvin, Manuel Medrano. Like I interviewed Emilio Estefan, Gabriela Baroa, who at that point was the CEO of the Latin Recording Academy. It took an interview of like 10 of the 10 or 15 of the largest, some of the like the biggest artists in music, Ricky Martin, Luis Fonsi, a lot of artists, because it was through that article I was explaining how the Latin Recording Academy came in at the perfect point when the first Latin explosion happened, which was in 1999 when Ricky Martin hits the stage with Celia Cruz and Gloria Estefan at the Grammys, and telling all that story. Like I literally got chills telling all that story, and also through these interviews with all these people while living in London. So a lot of these were like FaceTimes, a lot of them were WhatsApp conversations.
This was while you were in Europe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, none of these were face to face. I mean, some of them I FaceTimed with and stuff, and I have their numbers in my phone because at some point, like I was in London, it was like the difference in time and stuff, and like the publicist would be like, "Hey, this is his number. Just call him at this time." And I would just call. But that was one of the first pieces that I wrote that I was like, "Oh my god, like I did this."
Yeah, because it's the top echelon of what you did, like
for Variety. Variety fucking magazine. Have you seen You, where she says like they publish.
I've seen the show, but I don't remember that scene.
Okay, there's a scene where she gets her story published on Variety, and she walks into the room and she goes, "Variety fucking magazine." Yeah. So I have my Variety fucking magazine moment, and it's that one.
Yeah,
it's like Variety fucking magazine. Laura Pausini starts following me. Like it was a really big, like, exciting moment, and that was one of like even the negotiation of like hire me because I can do this. I am the person to do this was just so funny. I was sitting in Oxford Circus, which if you've been, I don't know if you've ever been to London.
No.
Oxford Circus is like one of the most touristy parts of London.
Okay.
I was with 2 friends, one who was in town. She's at Billboard right now. She was visiting with another friend that was at Telemundo at that time. We were having coffee at this really cute like coffee shop, and I was waiting for the call from the editor of Variety at the time, from the music editor of Variety at the time. And I didn't even tell them. I didn't tell anyone. I was like, "Hey, girls, someone's calling me. I have a business meeting. So like finish your coffee and I'll be right back." And I sat outside like on the sidewalk, cars, taxis, like bikes, you know, like it's literally like one of the busiest, like most touristy parts of London.
Right.
And I'm having this meeting on the phone, like like, yes, okay, so 2,500 words, and how many advertorials? Okay, and do you need me to get people for the advertorials as well? Like all these like questions that I'm asking. And then she goes, Kat, we want to interview the biggest names in Latin music. Who can you get us? And that's when I was like,
who do you need?
Tell me who you need and I will get you whoever you need.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, Kat, so like you're hired, you know? She's like,
Fire.
You're hired. And I just like, I remember looking at my phone and closing my phone and saying like, oh my God, I just did that. I was like,
off.
oh my God, I just did that. You know, I was just so excited, like in the middle of the street. It wasn't anything formal. It wasn't anything pretentious. From London, you know what I mean? I was like, from London, I'm finally getting to do what I want. Because that's the other thing. Finally getting to do what I want, which is
on the other side of the world.
And work as a journalist from the other side of the world. Because that was also like
funny, right?
A build up. That was a build up.
Because that should have maybe happened here, you know?
Yeah.
Like not maybe should have, but could have, you know?
Could have.
Yeah.
It absolutely could have. I mean, it probably would have anyway if I would have been here. But the fact that it happened over there and they were like, yeah, fine. And that opened doors for me. Then MTV flies me out to Sevilla to cover the MTV EMAs. And like, you know, I'm Dua Lipa and Rosalia and Liam Gallagher from Oasis that I'm a huge fan of. And like all these like huge names and artists from like the general market are there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly where I want to be. I am exactly where I want to be.
Good.
So I'd say that article for me was like a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And then to be honest, the covering Bad Bunny's residency was huge for me. Doing the research those days that I was in Puerto Rico, I was there for 4 days, and the way I researched and really, you know, I spoke to people on his team. I interviewed cab drivers. I interviewed people on the street. Like I really wanted to get the gist of who Bad Bunny is to the Puerto Rican people.
Yeah.
And also to his not employees, but partners, to his friends, to the people that work with him in the team. Like, who is he? Who is he really? You know, far beyond the Bad Bunny that we're seeing on that stage. And I really got that from people, and I was able to translate it in my stories and in the articles that I wrote about the residency. I was the only journalist given a private tour of the casita, and the only one that was on La Montaña, which La Montaña is like the first. The residency was cut in 3 parts, the performance. So one is La Montaña, the second is La Casita, and the third one he goes back to La Montaña and performs like all the salsa music and stuff. So they gave me a tour of La Montaña. I went backstage up through like all the, you know, behind the scenes, saw like the tech equipment, like how the production went through, like through where everyone cut in to go in, and they put me on La Montaña and they started explaining piece by piece like every single element that was on La Montaña, what it meant, the flower, la flor de maca, like why, and the tree and the outfits and all the little things. You could see the bananeras with the 2 chairs, which is where Cani Garcia performed, Lo que le pasó a Hawaii. And those moments for me are really special because it's like, I have this privilege.
Yeah, I was about to say that. How incredible, right? Like, not like who gets to do that? Like, if I was your dad, like I'd be so freaking proud of you because like you go out there and you do these things by yourself and like you knock it out of the park and then people want to work with you, and then you go to this country and you go to that country. Dude, most of the time people are scared to do shit.
I know.
Like they think that something's gonna happen to them, or they can't pull it off, or they don't believe in themselves, and you're like, fuck them. We're going to Puerto Rico for 4 days.
Exactly.
Like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that.
And the important part to know here is things will happen. Like a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
I had to get on 4 flights to get to Puerto Rico. I had traveled for 24 hours. I forgot my carry-on on one of the planes, and the carry-on got lost. So the carry-on never traveled with me. I was able to recover the carry-on once I got to Puerto Rico. I got to Puerto Rico, and the hotel I get to, they had given away I get there at 3 a.m. finally after 24 hours of flying.
And then you have check-in issues?
And then I have check-in issues. They gave away my room to someone else. So there was no room for me. So they had to, so that it was a whole issue. I start crying on the street. I'm like, call the police, call the police. And I'm like crying because like, I'm like, call the police because the police might help me out. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be an annoying tourist. In Puerto Rico, they have to deal with so many annoying entitled Americans. And I'm one of them, but I need help. So they call the paramedics. They call the police. The police are like, mira puñeta, like don't waste this girl's time. Like I literally walk out like tears on my face and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't want to be annoying, but I paid them for a hotel room and they gave away the room.
Right.
And I'm crying. I'm like, I just want a place to rest. I've been traveling for 24 hours. I'm here to interview someone very important, and I'm
You pulled a Karen?
Yeah. I was like, please, okay. Like I need help. I need help.
Let me do something.
And they like talked and they like give this girl a room. So they ended up giving me a suite.
Nice.
So they put me in a suite, and then the suite has roaches. So there's roaches in the suite. I'm freaking out because I'm terrified of roaches.
Okay.
So I'm calling my mom like, Ma, and I'm like telling her the whole story, and I'm like, y ahora hay una cucaracha en el muro y yo no sé qué hacer, with the chancleta in my hand, like, y yo no sé qué hacer, ma, y tengo que estar en el estadio en una hora porque voy a entrevistar a papá.
Full meltdown.
Yeah.
I would have had the same meltdown though.
No, it was
after
literally
traveling 24 hours, bro, and then your room and then a fucking cockroach in the room. You're tripping.
Crying, but then knowing like the crying needs to stop now because we need to get to work. Like you need to get ready and go to El Choli and do the interviews that you were promised and ta. So like powering through that trip, but things can happen. Yes, things can happen.
Or mean people too. You know, people like
Just now, and then I would say my other very proud moment is again Super Bowl was super huge for me. I was one of the only Latina journalists there, covering for one of the biggest outlets, entertainment outlets, very respected name. And, you know, everyone was super kind and everything just went so smoothly, but things could have been upsetting if I would have let them get in the way. For example, I ended up booking where to stay 2 days before flying. By then, rooms were $3, $4, $5 a night. So I ended up finding a hotel that had availability in Chinatown, and it was just a 2-star hotel. Like imagine like the basics of the basics of the basics.
Yeah, rough.
Yeah. But I said, okay, this isn't, I'm used to staying in other very nice places, but I'm not going to let this stop me. I have bigger fish to fry. Mm-hmm. This isn't our very first time staying at a motel. What are we going to do? You pack the chancletas for the shower. You pack Lysol wipes and disinfectant so you can disinfect the room. Fabuloso, all the things. Absolutely. And that's what I did.
You're hilarious.
So, I'm not going to let anything stop me from getting my story. Anything. Not a hotel room, not a cockroach. Nothing is going to stop me from getting my story. And I think that's part of like how all these outstanding things happen. Like, if I would have been like, no, I can't have my meeting with Variety because they're so important. I can't have it on the street. What if they hear the ambulance passing by and like the honking and they're not going to
That's me sometimes. I wanted the audio to be perfect.
No, like it's a phone call, man. Like boom. Or imagine I said like, no, there's a roach in the room. So like, I'm not going to go interview blah, 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 blah. Who's super important because like, no, those end up being the little things that can stop you. So what did I do with the Super Bowl? I said, dude, we're in Chinatown. As long as we're safe and the room is clean, all is fine.
Yeah.
It ended up being super close to the convention center. So I would take my walks to the convention center, explore Chinatown a few times, had wonton soup and dumplings on my free time, spare time. Like I made the best of the situation. If I would have been crying because I have to go back to the motel in Chinatown, like those are like minimal things that sometimes happen.
And they give the story character too.
They give the story some character.
So you remember it later on when you write your book, when you tell your kids, talk about it on the podcast.
Exactly. I remember a friend who, God bless her, because I love her. She's like, Katta, I don't know if you should tell people that you were staying like at a place like that because you're selling this like story of like, you're this prestigious journalist. How's the prestigious journalist going to stay at a place like that? I'm like, that's not going to, I don't feel like it's going to take away anything. I'm like, if anything, it's relatable to people because it can happen anywhere. Yeah. Things like that can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, Cata Balzano, I make good money and all the things and I'm doing really well. But that doesn't mean that I can't stay at a 2-star motel and make it work.
Or you can't have a bad moment. Yeah.
I'll roll my sleeves up.
Not. Well, that's the whole point of why people work with you or give you an opportunity because like you get shit done. And then if things are difficult, you still get shit done.
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you something. What does a perfect day look like for you? If tomorrow you decide it's going to be your perfect day, what do you do tomorrow?
Okay. Perfect day. So perfect day needs to be a day where I get my full 8 hours of sleep, 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Like for me, it's priority.
Okay.
I'm a big sleeper. So I would say if I wake up at 8:30, that's like perfect timing to wake up. So I woke up at 8:30. I do lemon juice, cold first press extra virgin olive oil, and then a pinch of salt. I mix it. I drink it. Do my skincare. I have a whole routine. Walk the pups. Come back. Have my coffee. And shower, or possibly one to two, work out and then shower, or just shower and then work out at night.
Okay.
And then I would say go in first hour while I'm winding up to get to work. I go through emails. So read through email, see which ones I want to respond to immediately, which ones I can respond to in the afternoon, which ones are better phone calls than emails. I'm a big phone call person, which I think annoys people sometimes, but I would rather pick up the phone and have a 3-minute conversation than be going back and forth in emails.
Me too.
You know?
Yeah.
So I go through the emails. I pull out my walker. I have a walker in one of those stand-up desks. So I like lift up the desk, put the walker down, go have a 30-minute walking sesh while I'm like drinking my coffee. Then do some work throughout the day, whether it be writing an article, whether it be doing some interviews, whether it be filming some content for a brand that sent me a package, or with someone that, you know, I did some type of like brand deal with, things like that. Then I would say taking the pups on a walk. I live in Coral Gables, and I literally moved to Coral Gables intentionally because it's such a nice area to walk with the pups, and it reminds me of Europe a little bit. Yeah. So I take them for a walk around like 3 or 4 p.m. Come back, make myself like lunch, like a little snack, something. I do like avocado toast with like an egg, or an arepa with, I do. Sometimes I do arepa with the avocado. I do like the avocado toast, but like with the arepa instead.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll have like soup dumplings from Trader Joe's or whatever if I need something quicker. And then I do finish working quite late. So in a real setting, I finish working at 7 or 8. In the perfect day, I think I'd finish around 5. Then I'd go work out, or I'd go to an event. I'd feed the pups, and then I'd be in bed around like 10:30 or 11.
So it sounds like you have your perfect day actually very often. It sounds like you're like more or less living your dream life. I'm sure there's things that you want that aren't here yet, but it sounds like you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
Because you just described a day, like your day. You didn't tell me something that never happens.
Exactly.
You know, you didn't. I want to jump on a private jet and like fly to God knows fucking where. You're like, no, I want to wake up early. I want to walk my dogs. I want to do what I'm doing. Like, that's the perfect day for me. That's freaking awesome, dude.
And it's so interesting that you say like, oh, fly to France or fly or this and that. Like what you said, there's a lot of things that I eventually want to do and a life that I eventually want to live. But right now I work really hard on reminding myself that I am what 5-year-old me would have literally been obsessed with. You know what I mean?
5-year-old you would be like, damn, you're the rock star.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. And I remind myself a lot of that.
Or even 20-year-old you.
Yeah.
Like when we were in college.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. 20-year-old me would have been like, are you kidding me? Like you can FaceTime Karol G. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, I think not because it's Cata Balzano, but the access to some people, you know, is easier for someone who's in my position.
The status that you have, that somebody will do that.
Exactly.
And not just for random, but because you have value. Like you said, you do have value.
Exactly. So I think it's reminding myself of that. Like I get to do this. You know,
you don't have to do it. You get to do it.
Have to do this. Yeah. I get to do this. I get to live this life, and it has been a lot of work. It's been 15 years of work. I started as an intern when I was 18 at this, you know, small production in New York while I was living in New York for 2 years. Again, I've always had a very roll your sleeves up mentality. So I've lived in horrible circumstances, meaning like I've lived out of my car for 3 weeks. At one point, I lived in an attic in New York for 2 years, in Queens, New York, a literal attic. Like one day I want to like visit the place and show people where I lived for 2 years while I was in New York with 2 jobs, studying at community college, just trying to make ends meet. And then my mom, again, God bless that woman, would send me $600, and I would pay $300 for rent. Imagine I was paying $300 for rent.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 was like groceries. I was on food stamps because like how would I, you know, food stamps, and I was working 2 jobs plus community college. Dude. Already dreaming of like, you know, like being on TV and like and all these things. So it's just been like a continuous kind of like you've said, leveling up. Yeah. But within the level ups, there's challenges. There are. And I'm probably never again going to have a challenge like living in an attic. Like that was the challenge that 18-year-old me had to go through. Right. I'm probably never again going to have to mop a floor at a coffee shop like I did when I moved to London. I'm probably never again going to, you know, but And even if I had to, I have no problem doing it.
Yeah.
No problem doing it.
You've already walked the path. You know what you need to do.
Yeah, I have absolutely no issues doing anything. And that's why I don't look at anyone over or under the shoulder, because I've done it all, baby.
Never know.
Like, and I've also done it all. So it's no job is too big or too small for me. But it has been a continuous leveling up. And I have this thing that I say, and it's, everyone loves the pretty colors on the frosting, but nobody has any idea what it took you to make the cake.
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing for me. Like when I start telling like the nitty gritty of like all the things I had to do happily with a smile on my face, because I was like, this is not the big picture. The big picture is that. That's what we want to get to. So we're going to mop this floor. We're going to mop this floor, and
with pride too.
With pride. And the manager's going to laugh at us, and that doesn't matter because we're mopping this floor and it's fine.
Yeah. I like the way you think. Now, I want to finalize with one question. How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as someone... I want to be remembered as someone who never gave up. I want to be remembered as someone who understood that she wanted something and she never stood on anyone, never put anyone down, never hurt anyone to get there. But she definitely did everything that it took within her to get there. You know, I want people to be like, es una berraca. Y trabajó y es una tremenda trabajadora, and she's strong and she's terca. Thank God I'm a terca and my head is where it is and you can't get me out of it. And I will get there however I need to get there. But I also want to be remembered as someone who nobody can say, oh, well, she
played me.
She had me fired, or she stole money from me, or she played me, or she lied to me, or maybe somebody can say she's told me she'd send me the article and she never sent it.
Yeah, maybe
Turns out she had tonsillitis. But I never want to be remembered as someone who hurt anyone to get to the point where I want to get, because, you know, there's levels that. And let's say I'm like right here and like, it's like,
yeah, I respect that a lot.
Thanks.
I respect that a lot, because I was actually having this conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine. He's also my barber. And he's like, do you think that to get where we want to get, like, we have to fuck people over? And I'm like, if we want to be maybe the most richest person in the world, you probably have to fuck somebody over eventually. But if you want to be a respectable person that works hard, that people look up to, that like provides jobs for people, feeds families, like, I don't think so. There's positions in the world where, maybe you have to do some fuck shit, but the type of things that we want to do with our life, at least that conversation we were having was, no. We just got to keep riding the path, even if it's a little bit slower than we're expecting. We just got to keep riding that path and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm, again, a firm believer in that whatever you think needs to happen is what's going to happen. Yeah. And if you're the type that thinks that to be successful, you have to screw people over, life's going to give you opportunities to screw people over and to be like, well, this is what it takes to get successful.
Or for people to screw you over to show you. Yeah, exactly.
It's people will be like, it's lonely at the top, you know? And I mean, there's not 10 million at the top. There isn't, but it's not lonely at the top. Like, you can very much be at the top and have friends in all levels who respect you and respect your hustle and don't think of you as some cheat, person that like hurt people and did people dirty. So I think, again, whatever you think needs to happen is what's going to happen. If you're the type that says, in the struggle, because like, you know, you got to struggle to make it, like, life is going to make you struggle and struggle a lot to make it.
I used to think like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's like, no, it's not. It doesn't have to be hard.
It doesn't have to be hard. Yeah. And all hard work doesn't equal success, because if every single person that works super, super hard, you know, we're successul, maybe we can say that. But we know a lot of people that are hard fucking workers that work 8 days a week and they never are able to. So these are all beliefs that we have in our heads. I learned through therapy that those are just things that the world has instilled in us to make us, you know, little ants that just like believe that, like, if I want to get to the next level, I have to just work. And that's actually not. Like, taking breaks is important. Yeah. Valuing family, valuing friends, valuing, vínculos above that success, or above money, or above whatever it is that our goals are is important, is just as important. I would say it's just as much of a balance, and that's it. That's what I believe firmly.
Where for those listening who love everything you have to say, where can they find you on socials?
You can. I'm like
everywhere.
You can find me everywhere as Cata Balzano. Cata Balzano, yes.
Okay. All right, Katta. Well, guys, you heard it. Katta is a great friend of mine. I really wanted her to come on the podcast for a while now because she has amazing things to say. She's a really hard worker. And like I said, if I was your dad, I'd be extremely proud of you. I'm sure he is. But I want you guys to take these lessons away, implement them to your life if you feel they match, if you feel like you learned something today and maybe some friend you have, some family member could learn from this, could benefit from hearing this conversation, share it with them. And if you have any other questions, you could send them her way on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, wherever you're at. She's pretty responsive, and make sure to support her journalism work. She's amazing. And yeah, that's all I got to say. See you guys on the next episode.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Katta. Epa. And don't forget that you can support our podcast by visiting our shop at hustleinspireshustle.com/shop.